Today, we're going to be looking at, has anyone seen Shiloh lately? Here's my subtitle for today's message. What does a house look like when God trashes it? What does a house look like when God trashes it? This is the subtitle to the message. Stand in the gate of the Lord's house and proclaim there this word and say, hear the word of the Lord, all you men of Judah who enter these gates to worship the Lord. Let's take this verse apart. I want you to see something here. Stand. Stand. What does it mean to stand? You see, in a biblical sense, to take a stand, which I'm going to talk about tonight, to stand is to be resolute. I'm taking a stand. Why didn't God just say, Jeremiah, just go down there, speak the word and run? No, go down there and stand. Sometimes it's not just what you say, it's the way you say it that counts. Notice the next thing, in the where? In the gate. You see, what is a gate? See, biblically, a gate means something. When we talk about a gate in the Bible, it's that place of power. It's that place where those of influence are. Take a stand and do it in the gate. Now, oftentimes, we have forgotten what it is to be a witness because we're afraid of the persecution we're going to suffer. Here's Jeremiah. Take a stand and do it in the gate. He's going to come under tremendous persecution, as we've seen. But here's the other interesting thing. He was told to declare this as people were going into the house of the Lord. The house of the Lord. Now, I find this incredible. I find it incredible for a couple of reasons. Firstly, this house was not the house of the Lord. And we're going to see that very clearly in a moment. God said, I'm not there. But here's the interesting thing that Jeremiah was told, that he was to speak this in the Lord's house to all the men. To all the men. And this is interesting on a couple of levels. Firstly, what was he told to speak? Well, he's told to speak the word of the Lord. And Jeremiah is told that they may hear the word of the Lord. And I just kind of pause there and think, well, if you're going to, where else in society are you more likely to hear the word of the Lord? I hope it's in church. I hope it's in church. And Jeremiah is told to speak the word of the Lord to all of the men. You know, men have a greater responsibility for leadership than women do. That went down well. But I believe it. Oh dear, this could be a reenactment of what Jeremiah went through. Knives and daggers, and if only coming out of women's eyes. But let's keep going. Men are called to lead. Jeremiah is told to speak to the men because they bear greater responsibility. Now, here's the other interesting thing is that it's almost mocking. It's almost like God is mocking the people. It's almost like God is saying, you've come to hear the word of the Lord and you've come to worship me. Bunk. Because this is what verse 2 goes on and says, to speak to all you men of Judah who enter these gates to worship the Lord. See, what does it mean to worship the Lord? You see, you can lift your hands and you can do the whole thing, and you could even go to a youth-style evangelistic service and thrash your head about, and you walk out of there and you start living the way a non-Christian lives, and your worship amounts to very little. Very little. And Jeremiah is going to nail them about this. What does worship look like? Today, we are, as Dr. Amanda said, depleted. Not that those who are playing are depleted or demented in any way, because I thought they did a great job. Great job. And I think Amanda always does a great job when she leads our worship. But what if Amanda was just up here playing the jaw harp or the wax comb or the egg shaker and had no instruments? What would be in your heart? Oh, I only worship to a 7-piece band. Not entering in. God help us. What's in your heart? Well, I'm an intellectual. I don't enter into this singing stuff. Well, poo-poo on you. Our pastor said poo from the pulpit. Gosh. Really, we've got to have hearts that want to worship. Come on. This is good preaching. The Bible says encourage yourself if no one else does. Jeremiah 7 verse 3. Come on, we're nearly there. We've just got a few verses to go. Thus says the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, amend your ways and your deeds, and I will let you dwell in this place. Now, this is really, really, really important, because today there's a whole bunch of people over in Israel getting killed because they don't get this. There are people killing people today because they think God gave me this real estate and I don't care who owns it. I'll kill them if they're on it because God gave it to us, and it's rubbish. Whose land is it? The Arabs say it's ours. The Palestinians say it's ours. The Jews say it's ours. Whose land is it? I'll tell you right now, it's God's. So here's a couple of questions I want to ask you. Is Christ the center of your life? Do you live with everything being referenced to Christ? And I want to finish with this thought. Because as Jeremiah was saying, remember Shiloh. Let me tell you what happened to Shiloh. That tabernacle became tattered. The poles became weathered. The fence around it became flapping in the breeze with rips and tears. It was an absolute embarrassment. And Jeremiah says, remember Shiloh, this once glorious tabernacle that God gave Moses to build, is now flapping in the breeze in utter disrepair. That's what happens if you don't maintain your relationship with God. Your relationship with God, if you don't look after it, can become like Shiloh. Remember Shiloh. This is the message of the prophet Jeremiah from 2,615 years ago. Thanks for watching this video today on Jeremiah. Here we are walking through one of the national parks in Tasmania. This is the walls of Jerusalem. It's just a magic spot. Bit of snow on the ground. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this. If you'd like to order the rest of these DVDs in this series, contact us at the address just at the bottom of the screen. We'd love to hear from you. If you've got some encouragement to share with us, contact us at admin@legana.org and just shoot us back an email of encouragement. We'd love to hear from people who've been listening or watching to these messages on Jeremiah. I hope this has been a blessing, and hope you can join us for the next video.